So now, what do you prefer? Eyelids, face, or both? That's the great question of everybody. So, Serge, what do you think?
As I told, if the eyelids do work, if the face works, I don't choose
You don't use the eyelids, okay. Rolando?
So here's what we did with the Optolite. If you look at the FDA study, we did not do eyelids. We actually did just a larger foot plate below the eyelid. So when we got the Optolite, and then when we did the upper lid study, we just did upper lids just to see if you just did upper lids alone with a small tip, if that increased tear breakup time and helped. So we proved that. We proved just doing the lower eyelid face, like he said, worked. So we proved those two things. We got the Optolite and we tried two things. One is just doing lids with the small pencil tip, doing upper lid with a small pencil tip and thick foot plate. And then we also tried pencil tip, both lids, and then face.
Okay.
The one that worked the best was upper lid and then
face.
Full face. And the reason being, in thinking about it, the thinnest skin of the whole face is the upper lid. The lower lid is thin, but is not as thin as the upper lid. The other problem with the upper lid and why you need a small footprint is there's nowhere for the energy to diffuse because of the orbital rim and shelf. So since we proved that upper lid is better, we do upper lid with the pencil tip and we do
the face with the other one, okay.
Full face there.
I think, Carlos, you are...
Well, in my 10 years experience, I prove it, I think, almost all the combination. And I use it, the small window, trying to apply directly to the skin, applying the upper and the lower lid, only the periocular area. And finally, I have no study, an official study, but my opinion is finally the best result is doing the combination of the, well, I use the goggles, and then we combine the periocular area, the treatment that was recommended from the initial. So I don't see any advantage when we put the handpiece directly to the skin or when we treat the upper lid. At the beginning it was amazing because I was sure that using the handpiece directly to the skin in the upper lid, we will have better results. But that's not like that. I don't know why, because sometimes people ask me about how do you explain that, for instance, when we talk about the Demodex, they say you could see Demodex in the upper lid, and then you put the handpiece in the lower lid with the goggles, and then we have an improvement related to the Demodex. Why? I don't know exactly. Maybe the light, maybe you can display much better because the light is spread through the tissue and then arrive, or there is a mechanism related to the sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves. I don't know exactly, but it works. That's the real situation.
Yeah, it does. I mean, lower, if you were just to treat the lower, that energy goes from upper to lower. But what I'm seeing over the last 5 years, I used to see patients and their lower lids were always worse than their upper. Was it because of gravity? Because I don't know. But over the last 5 years, people's meibomian gland dysfunction is getting so bad that their upper lids are just as bad as their lower lids. And if you look at my biography, I want you to compare my biographies from 5 years ago to now. My biographies of the upper lids are looking much worse now than they ever have before. So start doing my biography, start looking at my biographies again and tell me which is worse, the upper lid my biography or the lower lid my biography. And I'm seeing more upper lid my biography.
Donc il y a à peu près un consensus pour...
It's because of the telephone.
Yeah?
Because the patient do not blink.
Yeah.
So the upper lid is now also diseased.
Yep, perfect.
Donc le débat reste ouvert, mais il y a à peu près un consensus pour dire que les paupières inférieures sont bien traitées par l'IPL facial, et peut-être, comme l'a dit Rolando, pour la paupière supérieure, il faut un traitement localement adapté. Mais comme les paupières inférieures sont les plus importantes, globalement, c'est pour ça que le protocole d'IPL facial marche la plupart du temps bien.
Mais une des questions qui n'est pas résolue, c'est one of the questions that we don't know is how the light does diffuse tangentially in the skin, because it probably does diffuse a lot along between the two eyelids, in fact.
Yeah, I mean, the dermatologists have done these infrared studies. If you do an infrared study and do IPL on the lower, you will find that that energy actually, if say you just did IPL right here, from ear to ear, you will find that that energy diffuses throughout the whole face. So they've done infrared. So you can get an infrared gun from a hardware store, very cheap, and point it at different places in the body, and you can see where that energy is diffusing, and it does diffuse. So you're completely right. If you just did the lower, you're still going to get an effect.